Thank you again for joining us for the Auraria campus's celebration of National Coming Out Day. Before I take a second to introduce our distinguished guests today, I just wanted to take one more chance and opportunity to thank all the sponsors that made today's events possible. The Metro State Student Activities Office, the CU Denver Office of Student Life, the CCD Office of Student Life, the Auraria Genders and Sexualities Alliance, Politically Active Students, the Metro State Feminist Alliance, and the Auraria Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Student Services. Without the support of all these offices, this event wouldn't have been possible. So if everyone could take just a quick second and recognize our sponsors, that'd be awesome. One other thing, at the conclusion of the press conference today, we are doing some It Gets Better videos upstairs. So if you'd like to take a moment after we're done to pop upstairs and do a quick video, I know that they would appreciate it. So quickly to introduce our distinguished panel before we get started. You heard from him already, Colorado State Senator Pat Stedman, a representative from Senator Michael Bennett's office, Hal Bidlack, representatives from Congresswoman Diana DeGette's office, Morris Price and Stephen Graves, and a representative from Jared Polis' office, Mr. Stuart Feiner. And so at this time, I'd like to call on Stuart Feiner to introduce the next speaker.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot my regular glasses today, so everyone's a blur. Just wanted to say hello and give greetings from Congressman Polis, who happens to be a new father, as you probably know, with his partner Marlon. We're very excited about the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and looking forward to helping the vets and enlisted people in any way that we possibly can. It's always good to take the opportunity to remind vets in particular that we can help them with any federal agency problem with the VA or anything like that. We can also help in terms of military academy nominations. So I always like to put a plug in for the casework because a lot of vets don't know we can do that. If you're in the 2nd Congressional District, give us a call. And now I want to introduce Morris Price, District Director for Congresswoman Diana DeGette.
Thank you, and always pleased to have to be on campus, which is part of the 1st Congressional District, the home of Congresswoman DeGette. I want to also acknowledge with me is our staffer, Steve Grove. Steve is new to our staff, and Steve is an out veteran, 6-year veteran of the Navy. So we're proud to have him on our staff and doing the similar work that was mentioned earlier. Congresswoman could not be here. She is actually in Washington, D.C., preparing to vote. But from her, today, in recognition of National Coming Out Day, Congresswoman DeGette is proud to represent her constituents and stand in support of our brave men and women in the military who for too long lived their lives in the shadows while placing those lives on the front lines in defense of our freedom. On September 20th, the military discriminatory Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy officially became a thing of the past. As Vice Chair of the Congressional LGBT Caucus, Representative DeGette was proud to play a critical role in the passage and the repeal of the legislation, which helped lift the veil of discrimination that had long shrouded our armed forces. The Congresswoman had heard firsthand from gay and lesbian servicemen members that not only is our military now stronger as a result of the repeal, but so is our country. For we have reaffirmed our basic commitment to equal protection under the law. But the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell does not mean there's complete equality in our armed forces. There are other discriminatory laws and policies that will continue to prevent LGB service members and their families from enjoying the same rights and privileges as their counterparts. So once again, for too long, through their service and their sacrifice, gay, lesbian, bisexual service members have demonstrated how they feel about their country. Now it's our turn to demonstrate how we feel about them. For each of us have the ability to make a commitment to pledge to continue our voice for full equality. Because when we know that progress beats with a steady force, it cannot be stopped by ignorance nor misinformation. And that's why we are pleased to see this website available to let our LGBT troops express themselves, but also allow their family and friends to express their support for their efforts. Whether you're lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, or our important straight allies, we should all be proud of who we are, convinced that we enjoy the support of our friends, our neighbors, and our government. On Coming Out Day, Representative DeGette is proud of the progress we've made, focused on the task at hand, and confident by working together, we can and will achieve full equality. In speaking of full equality, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Senator Pat Stedman, of District 31, chair of the Appropriations Committee, and I pushed him to say that he is the first openly gay chair of that important committee. But prior to for today, he served an important role as key leadership in passing the Rights 5 campaign, which passed 5 important laws in our state for the protection of LGBT people. I'm pleased to have Senator Stebbins with us and thank him for his continued support and work on our behalf.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for the invitation to speak on this occasion of National Coming Out Day. And I think it's very fitting that we celebrate the view of don't ask, don't tell in the rearview mirror on this day, a day when we celebrate being honest and open about who we are. Because the don't ask, don't tell policy was the antithesis of what we celebrate today on National Coming Out Day. It was a policy that asked people to live a lie, to ask them to silence themselves about an aspect about themselves, and to not find the strength that comes from the simple act of coming out. I always tell audiences and groups I speak to that they should never underestimate the awesome power of coming out, because it is truly liberating. It is something that allows you to be a full and honest person about who you are and how you interact with others. And the idea that we would deny this to the men and women that serve our country and wear the uniform of our armed services, it was just really shocking to me that we would ask those people who are first and foremost on the front line of defending truth and justice and the American way to live a lie. Well, those days are gone, and here now, in the post don't ask, don't tell era, we are here today to encourage members of the U.S. Armed Services to come out, to be open, and to realize the power that comes from honesty. And so to all of the brave men and women that wear the uniform and serve our country so proudly, I have these simple words to say: come out wherever you are. I get to introduce a veteran of our armed forces who exemplifies what I was just talking about in terms of the ability to live openly and honestly and realize the power that comes from the truth. And that man is Mike Yost, and he's here today to speak with us about his experiences serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. He is a veteran of the United States Air Force. He was a senior airman. He served active combat duty in Operation Southern Watch in Kuwait. And since the time of his honorable discharge, he has now become someone who's been very involved in the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and an advocate for this National Coming Out Day for our armed forces. And I am very proud to get to introduce someone that we should all be proud of and who is going to encourage his colleagues in the armed forces to be proud of who they are and come out and tell the truth. Please welcome Mike Yost.